What if some of the most powerful compounds studied for inflammation weren't created in laboratories at all? What if they were growing in gardens, forests, and kitchens around the world? Chronic inflammation is now linked in research to joint discomfort, cardiovascular issues, metabolic imbalance, and accelerated aging. And while medication absolutely has its place, scientists have been increasingly studying plant compounds that may help support the body's natural inflammatory response. Today, we're exploring 20 powerful anti-inflammatory plants backed by modern research. Some are common kitchen spices. Some are traditional medicinal herbs used for thousands of years. And one of them contains a compound studied in over 10,000 scientific papers. Stick around, because number 18 might surprise you. It grows in ordinary yards, but contains one of the most interesting natural compounds studied for immune balance. Let's begin. Turmeric, Curcuma longa. If there's a superstar in the anti-inflammatory world, it's turmeric. Used in Ayurvedic medicine for over 2,000 years, turmeric's bright yellow pigment comes from a compound called curcumin. Curcumin has been extensively studied for its role in modulating inflammatory pathways in the body. Research suggests curcumin may influence cytokines, oxidative stress markers, and pathways involved in joint health. Some clinical studies have examined its role in supporting joint comfort comparable to certain over-the-counter options, though bioavailability can be an issue without proper formulation. Turmeric isn't a miracle, but it's one of the most researched plant compounds in the world. Think of it as ancient medicine under a modern microscope. Ginger, Zingiber officinale. Ginger has been used traditionally for digestive and joint support across Asia and the Middle East. Its active compounds, gingerols and shogaols, have been studied for their anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Research suggests ginger may help support joint comfort and healthy inflammatory balance, particularly in osteoarthritis contexts. Clinical trials have shown moderate improvements in pain perception and mobility when ginger extracts are used consistently. It's warming, it's familiar, and it's far more biologically active than most people realize. Sometimes the most powerful medicine is sitting in your spice rack. Boswellia, Boswellia serrata. Boswellia, also known as Indian frankincense, has a long history in traditional Ayurvedic systems. The resin contains boswellic acids, compounds studied for their effect on inflammatory enzymes, particularly 5-LOX pathways. Several modern clinical studies suggest Boswellia extract may support joint mobility and comfort, especially in people dealing with stiffness. Unlike fast-acting pain relievers, Boswellia is often described as working gradually, supporting balance rather than masking symptoms. A tree resin that's been used in temples, now validated in research labs. Green tea, Camellia sinensis. Green tea isn't just a beverage, it's a source of powerful polyphenols, especially EGCG, epigallocatechin galat. EGCG has been studied for its antioxidant activity and potential influence on inflammatory markers. Research suggests green tea consumption may support cardiovascular health and metabolic balance, partly through modulation of oxidative stress and inflammation. It's simple, it's daily, but it's biologically active in ways most people underestimate. A cup of tea with thousands of research papers behind it. Rosemary, Salvia rosmarinus. Rosemary contains rosmarinic acid, a compound studied for anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Laboratory research suggests it may influence inflammatory mediators and oxidative stress markers. Traditionally, rosemary was used for joint comfort and circulation support. It's not only culinary, it's pharmacologically interesting. That sharp aroma? It comes from compounds that do more than just smell good. Ashwagandha, Withania somnifera. Ashwagandha is often classified as an adaptogen, a plant traditionally used to help the body respond to stress. But modern research has also explored its role in inflammation. Several studies suggest ashwagandha extracts may reduce certain inflammatory markers, particularly in people under chronic stress. Chronic stress and chronic inflammation are closely linked. By helping regulate stress hormones like cortisol, ashwagandha may indirectly support inflammatory balance. It's not about instant results, it's about restoring equilibrium. A root used for thousands of years, now studied for modern stress-driven inflammation. Garlic, Allium sativum. Garlic has been used medicinally across civilizations, from ancient Egypt to traditional Chinese medicine. When crushed, garlic forms allicin, a sulfur compound studied for antimicrobial, cardiovascular, and anti-inflammatory properties. Research suggests garlic may help support healthy blood vessel function and modulate inflammatory responses linked to cardiovascular health. It's simple, it's common, but biologically, it's remarkably active, one of the oldest functional foods still in daily use. Cinnamon, Cinnamomum species. Cinnamon isn't just flavor. It contains cinnamaldehyde and polyphenols studied for their influence on inflammation and blood sugar balance. Research suggests cinnamon may help modulate inflammatory markers and support metabolic health, especially in people with insulin resistance. Inflammation and metabolic imbalance often go hand in hand. Cinnamon sits at that intersection, a kitchen spice with surprisingly serious research behind it. Clove, Syzygium aromaticum. Clove contains one of the highest concentrations of antioxidants among culinary spices. Its primary compound, eugenol, has been studied for anti-inflammatory and analgesic properties. Laboratory research suggests clove extracts may help influence inflammatory pathways and oxidative stress. Small spice, extremely concentrated chemistry. Sometimes potency hides in tiny packages. Sage, Salvia officinalis. Sage has been used traditionally for inflammation in the mouth and throat. Modern research has explored its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds, including rosmarinic acid and flavonoids. Some studies suggest sage extracts may support cognitive health partly through reducing oxidative stress and inflammatory processes in neural tissue. It's strong, aromatic, and powerful, but best used with respect. An herb that bridges culinary and clinical interest. Thyme, Thymus vulgaris. Thyme contains thymol and carvacrol, compounds widely studied for antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory effects. Laboratory data suggests these compounds may influence inflammatory mediators and oxidative stress levels. Traditionally used in respiratory support, thyme's role in inflammation often overlaps with immune function. A small herb with surprisingly complex chemistry. Chamomile, Matricaria chamomilla. Chamomile is often associated with sleep, but it also contains apigenin, a flavonoid studied for anti-inflammatory activity. Research suggests chamomile extracts may help support digestive and skin comfort through modulation of inflammatory pathways. Gentle doesn't mean weak. Chamomile works subtly over time, a calming plant that also calms inflammatory responses. Stinging nettle, Urtica dioica. Nettle has long been used in traditional European medicine for joint support. Modern studies suggest nettle extracts may reduce certain inflammatory markers and support comfort in people with joint stiffness. It contains polyphenols, carotenoids, and other bioactive compounds studied for immune and inflammatory modulation. The plant that stings on contact, but supports from within. Olive leaf, Olea europaea. Olive oil gets most of the attention, but olive leaf contains oleuropein, a compound studied for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Research suggests olive polyphenols may help support cardiovascular and immune health by influencing inflammatory signaling pathways. The Mediterranean diet's benefits may partly come from these compounds, a tree leaf with a long medical history and modern validation. Art cherry, Prunus cerasus. Tart cherries are rich in anthocyanins, the pigments responsible for their deep red color. Clinical studies suggest tart cherry consumption may help reduce exercise-induced inflammation and support recovery in athletes. Some research has also examined its role in joint comfort and sleep quality. Food as function, flavor as chemistry. Holy basil, Ocimum sanctum / Tulsi. Tulsi is revered in Ayurvedic medicine. Modern research suggests it may support inflammatory balance, particularly in stress-related conditions. Like ashwagandha, it works partly through stress modulation and antioxidant support, an adaptogenic herb that supports resilience, internally and systemically. Black pepper, Piper nigrum. Black pepper contains piperine, a compound studied not only for anti-inflammatory effects, but for enhancing absorption of other compounds like curcumin. Piperine has demonstrated anti-inflammatory potential in laboratory research. It's rarely used alone, but it amplifies everything around it. A supporting actor with a powerful role. Red clover, Trifolium pratense. Red clover contains isoflavones, plant compounds with mild phytoestrogenic activity. Research suggests red clover may support inflammatory balance in menopausal populations and help modulate oxidative stress. Traditionally used for skin and women's wellness, it's now studied in hormonal and inflammatory contexts, a meadowflower with biochemical depth. Willow bark, Salix species. Willow bark contains salicin, historically used for discomfort and fever. It inspired the development of aspirin-like compounds, though modern medications are standardized and different in dosage and safety profile. Research confirms salicin-related compounds influence inflammatory pathways. It's a reminder that many pharmaceutical breakthroughs began with plants. Resveratrol, from grapes and Japanese knotweed. We close with one of the most studied plant compounds in anti-aging and inflammation research, resveratrol. Found in grape skins and certain plants, resveratrol has been studied for its antioxidant properties and influence on inflammatory signaling pathways. Research suggests it may help modulate cellular stress responses and support cardiovascular health. It represents the intersection of plant chemistry and longevity science. Not hype, not magic, just plant compounds under intense scientific scrutiny. Inflammation isn't the enemy. It's part of how the body protects and repairs itself. But chronic, unregulated inflammation? That's where problems begin. And as research continues, one thing becomes clear. Nature has been building complex bioactive compounds long before modern chemistry tried to replicate them. If you found this valuable, hit like and comment below. Which of these plants do you already use? Subscribe for more evidence-based plant knowledge.